the hedge funds are getting mad. Like they're as people term
Big
it.
mad.
Yeah, the suits are getting mad, and they're not happy about what's happening because if you don't know what's been going on, I mean, for as long as we've known, they've been profiting big time off the stock market. The banks themselves own large parts of every market, not even just the stock market. It's similar in the forex market. Cryptocurrency, which you've probably heard a lot of, in Bitcoin is more recent, so they don't have a big control over that. But man, it just goes to show you that now kind of human influence and the money we can put in is actually substantial. Retail traders are kind of gaining control, which is crazy, man.
How would you like, just because it seemed like for a lot of people who like even me, I'm a business student, but we only had like one stock class, like stock market class. So when all this started breaking down, like I had to do my own research to really find out like what exactly are these guys doing? Like, so what are they really doing to quote unquote screw the big suit guys?
I mean, in the simplest terms, without complicating it, it's really just pump and dump, which is a term that is actually used by, a lot of stock investors in general. It's the term that, I mean, you've seen, and a lot of people thought it was happening in crypto as well, where you just put in large volumes, a lot of money into the investments. You have a short-term kind of push in the market. You have a bullish market. And so what that means is that it's going up, right? And as soon as you see that initial rise, the term I've heard, like, what comes up must come down. It's always, like, I guess, a basic terminology when it comes to investing, and it is true to some degree. There's a lot more specifics that go into it, and I can explain more about that after, and kind of like why, like what my personal take is on it, and do I trade off hype? I personally don't, but what's happening is a lot of money goes in, drives the price up, and then eventually they all decide what they're deciding to do right now is just kind of sell at the same point. But if you're on TikTok or Instagram, they're all saying AMC to the moon,
Yeah,
GameStop to
yeah.
the moon, like all this
We're
kind of stuff.
going to the moon.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, because from what I garnered from this, like this is really kind of going against what the hedge fund guys, like you said, they've been doing this for a long time. So even the whole practice of shorting stocks. So basically,
Yeah.
you're betting against a firm. Basically, no, like obviously you do your own research, but you're like, okay, basically, I know this guy's price is gonna go down, so I'm just gonna lend a stock from a broker and then just sell it at its point and then just buy it back when it's at a lower price, and then they make the profit off that. What is your take on like shorting stocks and etc.?
In terms of shorting, I mean, the major thing to understand is that these guys and girls know exactly what's going to happen in the market, right? I mean, they're huge, they're controlling it. They have they know the ins and outs. They have the experts that study this, day in and day out. And the shorting is pretty much just selling, right? You can term this in any market when you're going long, or obviously you're shorting something. It's shorting, so shorting would be the opposite of buying. You're selling something, and obviously you're expecting to make a profit on that downtrend. Now, it's not something that retail traders can actually do in the stock market unless you're doing, certain brokers will allow that. But typically, if you're using something, at least in Canada over here, like Wealthsimple or using Robinhood, it's not something that is regularly available to retail traders. So that's kind of when they take advantage. I don't know if you also heard they were like there's aftermarket hours, right? And so
Yeah.
that's not stuff that we can
Wait,
personally.
wait. So the stock market doesn't close when the stock market closes?
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
What?
So, like, we have access to a certain time, right? And they have access after hours, which is not, it's obviously not the whole day, but like there's certain hours they can invest and trade and manipulate the market. So market manipulation, yeah, market manipulation is something that has been kind of like a conspiracy for a long time, but it's actually real. So I don't coin it a conspiracy, but they actually do affect the market, and yeah, they have access to do that. So for those of you that are invested and you're watching this and you've seen people say that the market is changing after hours, the reason is because they're actually gaining access to do that. So
Wow. Yeah, because I was thinking, I'm like, okay, us regular guys, we can't go and short stocks because I don't know how we would even have access to being able to buy a stock. I
yeah, you
mean, lend a
can't
stock.
sell
How would
something
we
you
do
don't
that?
have. Yeah, like you can't sell something you don't have in the stock market,
Exactly.
right? I can dive into so I'll relate it to something which is obviously very popular now, which is forex. Forex, you necessarily don't have to own it right away. I mean, in theory, you can just kind of put a sell trade, and that would allow you to make money if it goes down. In the stock market, you can't do that. You can't make money if things are going down, right? Unless you're a hedge fund.
Yeah,
So
basically.
it's a different. Each market has their own kind of thing. With what we're seeing in stocks, it was really easy to manipulate for a lot of people. I mean, not us obviously, but for them. And so I mean, yeah, we don't really we don't really have the access. From what I know, maybe things have changed slightly, but from what I know exactly right now, we don't have access to do that stuff that they can do. So it puts us
The
at a disadvantage.
major disadvantage. That's why I'm not surprised. Like the way, like because the main thing here is like all these guys are like, okay, we're holding the line. And like,
Yeah,
doesn't matter how long we're holding the line. And one thing I learned about it is that, cause I was wondering, I'm like, okay, they keep talking about how the big guys are losing money. Like they're losing money. They're losing money. And I didn't, cause I didn't know it at the time. I wasn't educated enough. I'm like, how are they exactly losing money? Like, what does that really mean that they're losing money? And then when you study what short stocking is and the fact
yeah,
that they have to buy that back at a lower price, and you're like, so the longer they wait out, the longer these guys might have to cut their losses and basically liquidate.